Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Sad Lonely Man Tells You What Anime He Watched. This time it's what I watched in the month of December. Let's get right into it. The very first thing that I watched was an anime called Gushing Over Magical Girls. Now, the only thing I knew about this show was based on the name was that there would be magical girls involved and that allegedly I heard that it was horny. Little did I know that this show is literally just porn. Every episode, well, the basic setup is that there's a girl that's a loser. No one likes her. She has no friends. I think she's a little too shy to even talk to anyone. She's like an otaku who is obsessed with magical girls. So she just, in the show's world, there's like real magical girls that like save the city, like all of Japan and again and again. And she's obsessed with them. She loves them. And she is walking home or something, and then an evil little spirit shows up and is like, "Oh, you love magical girls, do you? Well, how about I turn you into one?" And I think it's a little more explicit, actually. I think it's literally like, "I'm an evil demon, want evil demon powers?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Yes," and then gives her evil magical girl powers. So now she's a member of the evil magical girl like group. And then every episode is her quote unquote attacking the good magical girls that she's actually obsessed with. Although instead of actually trying to hurt them, she just kind of SAs them. Every episode, it's like her using her evil magical girl powers to explore a different fetish on them. So, like, episode 1, she gets her powers. She is a riding crop. She can hit things with the riding crop, and then they, like, come to life and become monsters. So the very first monster she creates, she starts like a flower, and it turns into a big flower monster. And what do flowers have? Vines. And what are vines? They're tentacles. So the magical girls get, touched by tentacles. And then every episode is something. Episode 2, it was like hot candle wax. And then it just like goes on. And then there's one member of the magical girls loves it. She actually is like, "I wonder what she's going to attack me with later." And the evil magical girl slowly gets allied. She gets like 2 more members of her group. But literally every episode, it's like, this episode she attacks them with vine tentacles. Then she attacks them with hot wax. I forget the exact order of things. I know one episode, maybe the single worst one, because I don't know whose fetish this is that the one girl's power is to have a dollhouse, and whatever in the dollhouse she wants to happen happens, as long as you're in the dollhouse, and she like makes it so. So her name is Nero Alice, and Nero Alice, this is one of the main girl's allies. I forget the main girl's name, to be honest. It's been a month. And Nero Alice sucks in the pink magical girl and turns her into a baby. And I think like that's the fetish, is like being a baby. I don't know. Was really mostly just uncomfortable to watch. Not my kind of feel. Please go back to the tentacles. Yeah. So, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I guess I should give my fucking score. But yeah, it was because there was no, as much as I'm a lore guy and I like story and characters, it doesn't really have much. And even though it's a magical girl series, there was little action. None of it was particularly like fun to watch. The characters and the writing did make me laugh though, and I'm a pervert, so it's not a total abysmal score like the last perverted anime I watched, Chain Soldier, where that was just pathetic. But this one, it made me laugh. It made me cotton. I didn't do that. But yeah, 7 out of 10. If there's more, I'll watch it because I'm so engrossed with the world and the characters. The next thing I watched was Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc. Now, before this movie came out, I had read the Chainsaw Man manga. Not like right before. For years I had been reading the manga. And this is actually my favorite part of the manga. But the character Reze had not appeared in animated form yet. And I'm reading it and I'm like, R-E-Z-E. I bet it's pronounced Reese. Like Reese, but with a Z. And then I kept seeing like podcast clips or people on YouTube and shit like that being like Rez-A, Rez-E, Rez-E, and I'm like, none of those are how I said it. I hope it's how I said it. And then it wasn't how I said it. It was Rez-A. But I remember when they announced this was going to be a movie, and then the first trailer came out, and I was like, holy shit, it looks incredible. This is my favorite part of the manga, other than the beginning of Chainsaw Man Part 2. Chainsaw Man Shippuden. But I was very, very excited when this got announced. I was like, oh, cool. And then it did come out in theaters, but I don't leave my shitty little goon hole, so I didn't go see it. I was like, I'll wait for it to come to digital, which is how I watched it. It came out, found out it came to digital, checked at midnight. I'm like, is it up yet? It was up. Bought it, watched it, great. Oh yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10. It was so much fucking fun, by the way. I always forget. I just start yapping and I forget to give my dumbass score. But I'm not gonna go over the plot of this one because it's still new. It's not even a year old yet. It came to digital pretty quickly, I think. I don't actually know the timeline of shit like that, but I had something else to say about this. Ooh, I got a little too excited to say I don't leave my house. But there was one part of the movie I will say that it's like front loaded with like character work and writing and like lore and story, and it's great. And then the like second half of the movie, basically, or at least the last third, it's just like one straight awesome stretch of action scenes. And there's one moment where I won't say what happens, but it like zooms in on the main guy, and the entire artwork of the movie changes for a snapshot on the main guy, and all the art changes to look like the covers of the manga volumes do. And I literally did the fucking Leonardo DiCaprio pointing me and like, holy shit, it's like the covers of the manga. How did they come up with this? But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. I kind of wish I did go to the theater to see it, although I was once betrayed locally when I saw, I think I got a targeted ad that was like, hey, what was it? Oh, Dragon Ball Super Superhero is in theaters near you. And I was like, I need to go. I love Dragon Ball. I need to go see this movie. And then I clicked the thing, and it was like, oh, it's in a city like 3 hours away. Go see it. And I was like, fuck no. You told me it was in this city I live half an hour away from. And then flash forward after that, and I get another targeted ad that's like, hey, Buster, hey, fuckface, One Piece Film Red is in a theater near you. And I was like, no, it isn't. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. You lost my trust. You betrayed me. And then I fucking see someone I know that lives in that city, like, watching One Piece in the theater. And I'm like, I could have seen this and that was another movie, would have been great in the fucking theater. So I guess I should just move into the movie theater, start living in the walls, eating popcorn off the ground like an anteater. Whatever. Moving on. Chainsaw Man movie, 10 out of 10, in my opinion. Great movie. Best part of the manga, other than stuff that's happened, not recently, because now it's been years, but Chainsaw Man Part 2, also very good. That's not going to hit the anime for a long time, though. The next thing that I watched, and this is where you'll notice a theme of December, of Goonsember, where I watched Yandere Dark Elf. She chased me all the way from another world, ! And this show is anime based off a hentai manga, which I don't know if I've read. If I did, it wasn't good enough to remember, other than the fact that I know that it exists. Because, you know, I'm pure-hearted, so I go to websites to blacklist them and make sure I don't go there. I definitely didn't like click add to favorites and read again and again. But the basic idea is that, you know, it's a yandere, so it's a girl that's like crazy about you, or about, you know, whatever guy, about me. She loves me, and she like gets insanely jealous, and I think usually the gimmick is that she like kills other guys to like, only I can have you, kitten, or, you know, shit like that. So it was like the basic setup. Oh my god, fuck! Everyone's gonna click the dislike button now. The basic setup is that there's this high school boy, I think, who gets sent isekai style to another multiverse world, and he gotta beat the demon lord. And this show starts with, it's like, you guys beat the demon lord, and then he like starts to glow, and he's like, I'm getting sent back home, goodbye. And the dark elf that was in his like adventurers party was like, no, main character Kun, I'm so fertile for you, please, I love you, stay or take me with you. And he's like, goodbye, and then he poofs back to his own world. And then for whatever fuck ass reason, she shows up at his door like, oh, bet you weren't expecting me to be here. And then she's there, and she moves in with him. And this is the second porn anime I watched this month in Goonsember, and it fucking sucks. This is one of the worst anime I've ever seen. I gave it a 1 out of 10. It's doing a 1 out of 10 club. I think I've given that score to like 2 or 3 other things. Two or three other. Is that right? Is that English? Can I speak English? whatever. I give it to 2 or 3 things apart from this show. It joined them. It's a 1 out of 10. It's fucking dog shit. It's maybe single-handedly the ugliest fucking show I've ever seen. Like, it's borderline not animated. It's just like screenshots of colored shit made to move in fucking like Microsoft Movie Maker. It's ugly. It looked like a toddler drew it, which I hope they didn't because it's fucking porn. Every scene where the main guy and the yandere dark elf start to be like, oh, are we gonna fuck? And usually it's like her tits flop out and you're supposed to be like, wow, are those boobies? I like boobies. But they're censored because her nipples have fog on them. And typically when stuff like this happens, it's the kind of thing where they would like the Blu-ray, you can actually see their tits. I gotta hunt down the Yandere Dark Elf Blu-ray. You can tell I'm such a fan. I will give props to Gushing Over Magical Girls. You got to see a lot of boobs in that show, and obviously I love that. But this one, you don't get to see them. Maybe that would have booped it up to a 2 out of 10, but that's something we'll never know because it wasn't. But every time they're about to pork, it's like, and then somebody walks in and he has to be like, oh, we weren't. Oh. And then she's like, I can't believe we didn't fuck. And like, that's the joke of every single episode. Thankfully, every episode was only like 12 minutes long, and I was watching it on high dive. So you know I clicked the speed up button so that what was a 12 minute episode was a fucking like 10-minute long one. Oh my god, it was really fucking brutal to watch this. Even like one episode, I would be like, holy shit, am I gonna click next episode? I already have them downloaded on my iPad, so I guess I'm going to. Why didn't he just click the delete button? Shut the fuck up. Mind your own business. And also at some point, my cat's screaming. There's at one point in an episode where they say there's a girl that's like the classmate's friend, the main guy. He's the main guy's classmate, and I forget why, but she brings up like, I have to do a photo shoot with these people, and it's the magical girls from Gushing Over Magical Girls. So I just watched that, so I was like, what the fuck? I don't know if they were done by the same animation studio, or I doubt that's true because Gushing Over Magical Girls looks like it was done by people that are competent, and Yandere Dark Elf looks like it was done by me, who's never animated a day in his fucking life. But I don't know if it's supposed to be like, no, it's all in the same multiverse, and then there's going to be an Avengers Endgame where the evil magical girl uses the tentacles on the Dark Elf. I don't know. I hope not, because it would be censored. Anyway, yeah, 1 out of 10. Awful show. I know what you're thinking, like, oh, he must be watching these shows one-handed, which I'm not. Maybe I should be jerking off, like, it would maybe boost the scores. Like, this show made me come, it gets a 12 out of 10. This show made my penis cry, it gets an 11 out of 10. But I'm not doing that. I'm watching it alone in my bed, sadly. Next episode. Whatever. Moving on to something that couldn't be further from porn. It was a show called Teasing Master Takagi-san Season 3. That was a hard jumble of Japanese words to get out. And by Japanese words, I mean just saying Takagi-san. And then the rest was English, so what am I fucking up? So, Teasing Master Takagi-san, I think I first heard about when I was in college, so like a fucking decade ago. When I watched 4-Star Bento's Anime FMK, which was, I bring this up all the time, where Anime Fuck, Marry, Kill, they would take a bunch of shows from a season of anime, they would watch them. If they were going to keep watching it, they would call it fucking. If they were going to stop watching the show, they would do the kill part of Fuck, Marry, Kill. And then at the end of the season, they would be like, I'm going to marry Kino's Journey. I know that was something they watched. But I think it was either included in that or they brought it up as one of the potential options. And I was like, something about it, the title and the character designs like caught my eye. I'm like, Teasing Master Takagi-san. It's clearly a rom-com. I'm lonely as fuck. I'll watch that. So I click it, and the basic idea is that there's this kid called Nishikata, and he sits next to a girl called Takagi, and he is constantly challenging her to like games. So it'll be like an example in season 3 is that at one point, I think the way the episodes are structured is like, it'll be called like Fan Pool Day Snot Rocket. I made the last one. I made it all up. But this episode was called Fan. So that part of the episode is about they're at school early. They're hot as fuck. Nishikata pulls out a folding fan, starts fanning himself off, and he's like, "Jealous, huh? What do you think about this shit?" And she's like, "Hey, fan me." And he's like, "Why would I do that?" And she's like, I think she's like, "Okay, how about we do a contest? We do a game where whoever wins the contest gets to be fanned by the other person. And like that's the punishment of the loser." And he's like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah. What are we doing? What's the contest?" And she's like, "Whoever moves this eraser further with the fan is the winner." So he like goes crazy style fanning, and he moves it like 1 centimeter, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, now it's your turn." And she takes the fan, and then she pokes the eraser and just shoves it across the desk, and she's like, "I didn't say you had to fan it. I just said you had to move it with the fan, you fucking Nimrod." And he's like, "She fucking trolled me again." And that's the basic idea of every episode, with other characters and plot lines peppered in, all about like middle school romance, and how it, like slowly but surely Nishikata and Takagi is seemingly in love with him from day one, and he, while attracted to her, doesn't. He's kind of an idiot, so he doesn't really like clue in that that's how he's feeling until season 3 at some point, where he literally goes like, "Do I even like Takagi-san? Well, she is cute." And then he's like mind blown, "I do." Oh. And then it ended in a super sweet way where it ended on White Day, which in Japan it's like Valentine's on Valentine's Day it's like the girls are encouraged to give the boys chocolate, and then on White Day it's the opposite, where it's like if a girl gave you chocolate, you should go return the favor and give her chocolate, and maybe you might start fucking, but hopefully not, because you're all in middle school. So he like it culminates with him like desperately running to give her the chocolate, and then like that like the end of the show is them standing together, and it's like, oh, they're finally together after 3 seasons. And I put off watching this season for no reason, because season 1 came out in like 2017-ish, 2017, 2018, when I was in college. Season 2 came out, I think, like the following year, like 2019. And then season 3, I think, did come out soon after, but I think season 1 and 2 are on Crunchyroll, but season 3 is on High Dive, and I didn't have High Dive, or I was broke, whatever reason. I didn't watch it until now. Finally, I finished the series, except, I gave season 3 an 8 out of 10, because, I'm watching the show straight up lonely maxing, and then I'm like, one day, I'll be just like Nishikata. I'll be a 14-year-old boy falling in love with my classmate. I'm 27 years old, and I'm alone. Next on the fucking docket, we got Teasing Master Takagi-san the movie, which is the real bookend of the series. There was 3 seasons into the movie. The movie, I don't know if it happened in the manga. I mean, I never read it, so fuck if I know if it is something that was chapters or if it was just something they made for the anime. It doesn't feel exactly like the manga, because it's one storyline of them in the summertime. Nichikata and Takagi, they're like hanging out, whatever, and then they find a cat abandoned at a shrine, and then Nishikata's like, "Oh, my dad's allergic," and Takagi's like, "My parents said absolutely the fuck not," and then they hit me. So they're like, "Well, let's just like build it a little house here, and then we'll come take care of it." And then there's like a big montage of them like taking care of this cat together, and it's all supposed to be like an allegory of like, hey, wouldn't they be good parents even though they're 14, and that's a kind of a weird onus to put on their relationship. They just got together like only a couple months ago in verse. At some point, spoilers for Takagi-san the movie, I know you're all running to go watch it. The cat, they can't find the cat, and they're desperately searching for it. And then eventually they see the cat is picked up by like 2 kids, and they're like, "It looks just like our dead cat. Can we keep this cat, Mom?" And Mom's like, "Hell yeah, this is your new cat. Let's go." And then they just steal the cat, and Nishikata and Takagi are just standing there like, "They're taking our fucking cat." And Nishikata's gonna go like, "Hey," but then Takagi's like, "No, don't do it. It's this is for the best. Like, it makes more sense for him to have an actual home." And Nishikata's like, "Yeah, okay, sure, I guess." But they are very clearly sad about it. And then later on, they're hanging out. They hear a meow out a window, and they like, "It's our cat." And they look at the window, and it's just some other cat, because all cats sound the same. And it's bookended with a post-credit scene of them as mother and father of their own daughter at that same shrine, talking about whatever the fuck. And it's just like, oh, they really they stay together, they end up together, they get married, and they have a kid. How sweet. I do know that there was. I don't even think it was a sequel per se, like it is, because inverse it's in the future. But I think they were taking place in conjunction, where it was like Takagi was still going, and then there was a series about them raising the kid, which to me seems weird. What if, like, surely I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just wrong, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I swear I would see like new Takagi chapter and then new Takagi's kid chapter. But doesn't it kind of make reading the rom-com like fruitless if you're like, well, in the manga they're not together yet, but I know later they get together and then they fucking have a kid. Like, don't you want, like, so many romance series are like the build up. A lot of romance series are like, will they, won't they, and then they will, and then it's over. Like, snap of a finger, it ends right as soon as they get together. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm just fucking yapping now. Who cares? I also gave this an 8 out of 10. I think in retrospect I do like it a little less than the actual show. So maybe I would retroactively give it a 7, but I'm not actually going to change it on AniList. But yeah, it was good enough. It's sweet. You watch this show to be like, that's cute. Grown-ass man, by the way, to be like, that's so cute. Whatever, I'm moving on. The next thing I watched was a show called Sanda. Sanda. I knew about this show, not the show, the series for a while, because I would see like screenshots, and I was like, it's a show where a guy turns into Buff Santa and like fights people. That sounds right up my alley. That sounds like it could be really cool, or dog shit, because it could be a failure of a premise. They finally got a show, and I was like, oh, cool. I never did end up reading the manga. I'll check it out. I found out as it was airing that it's by the same person that did Beastars, which I still... Beastars anime isn't over yet. There's still another 12 episodes to come out, but I still need to go finish that. But, I was like, Beastars has its highs and lows. For the most part, I like Beastars, so I'll check out Sanda even now that I know that, I'll still check it out. So I checked it out, watched it. I was watching it weekly, actually. I think except for the last 3, maybe 4 episodes, because I just like let it pile up, like it got away from me. But the basic idea is there's this kid named Sanda. He is confronted by his classmate, the girl character whose name I don't remember, and she is like, I know you're Santa's descendant, you fucker. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I know if you put on red clothing, you'll turn into Santa. And he's like, are you out of your fucking mind? Do you hear yourself right now? That's stupid. And then she forces him into a red tracksuit, and then he, magical girl, transforms into Santa Claus. And he's like, oh shit, you were right. I am Santa. And then, like, that's the crux of it, is that she's like, I know you're Santa. My best friend in the world has gone missing. With your Santa magic powers, you have to grant kids' wishes. My wishes, we find my friend. And he's like, I can feel the Santa magic fucking corrupting me. I have to do what she says. And that's like a thorough line of the season of him. Like, every time he becomes Santa, he's like, I am overwhelmed with the, like, feelings that Santa possesses of having to do right by children and, like, granting their wishes and whatever. And, like, not being able to hurt kids because it's a battle series, but he keeps getting confronted. Like, there's a later part of the season where there's a character that's like, the world is fucked. So they reveal, like, in, like, tidbits throughout that, like, oh, in the Sanda world, you don't go to sleep because if you go to sleep, you instantaneously morph into an adult. Like, the laws of the universe have just fucking changed, and you can basically be a kid, like, for a real long time as long as you don't sleep. And they, like, try to, like, cult-like force this on, like, society. We live in a society. And yeah, so that's a plot line. The missing girl, like, fell asleep, and then when they find her again, she's like, hey, I fell asleep and I'm an adult, so I can't keep going to school with you guys. But spoilers. I just spoiled the fucking big thing of the show. They find, yeah, whatever. Who cares? You're not gonna watch Sanda, are you? They also reveal that one of the fucked up things of the world is that there's a whole class at this school full of kids that have killed adults. And then, like, the main adult killer is kind of like the secondary antagonist. Because the real main antagonist is the principal of the school, who has had cosmetic surgery on his whole body to always look young, even though he's an old man. Everything on his body is young except for his hands, which he wears leather gloves to hide his wrinkly old man hands. But Sanda has to, like, battle against him. I think Sonda is still ongoing. Like, I will allegedly see it on the site I use to pirate manga. Um, but I've never, after watching this, I didn't get a drive to go watch it. It's okay. I gave it a 7 out of 10, which I realize I'm saying okay, and then I'm giving it a decently high score because it was fun. It's a really, really pretty show. It's done by Science Saru, the same crew that did Dandadan. So, pretty show. Very, very, fun to watch. But in terms of, I don't care about any of the characters, really, and the lore is cool, but, not interesting enough to give it a higher score. So 7. I think the second season was instantly announced. If it wasn't, I might be making that up. But I'll watch season 2 if it comes out. I won't go rush to read the manga. If I found out the manga was ending, maybe I would. But it's, as far as I know, it's still just ongoing. Which I did see that it's by the lady that does Beastars. She's doing Sonda, and I think she has another manga. So she's just going crazy, I guess. The next thing that I watched, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. The next thing that I watched is a show that when it was new, and it was like, oh, this is all the new stuff, I was like, oh, I'll watch that. Looks like a show about fighting. I like shows about fighting. I am a simple man. This is a show called Togen Enki. Now, right away, I think from day one, my gay boyfriend Andrew was texting me or talking to me saying that, hey, he's watching Togen Enki, and it's sometimes cool, but sometimes not. And I'm like, okay, I had my eye on it because the thumbnail, the art of the show, the fucking poster looks cool. I'll watch that. I watched episode 1 a while ago, and I'm thrown off by how shitty the voice acting is, because the voice acting, or at least the voice directing, because it's a cast of competent voice actors that I've seen in other things, and I'm like, they do good in these other things. But for the most part, it's the main guy, but it also infects several other characters, and is noticeable that the voice director, it feels like, said to them, hey guys, so for this show, you're going to act like those TikToks where people take Dexter, the live-action TV series Dexter, and voice act over it and call the TikTok, what if Dexter was a English dubbed anime? And they do shit like, ah, damn it, I know you're the Bay Harbor Busher, but I just can't tell. And that's like a series of TikToks, and the whole show is voice acted like that. The whole show, especially the main guy Shiki, who's voiced by Zeno Robinson, who in other things I'm like, hell yeah, he's cool. He's one of the new guys that's in a lot of stuff and is good. But in this, it's so desperately grating that it was like a knife to the fucking ears. I hope he doesn't fucking see this. I'm just like, he fucking sucked. No, he doesn't suck. He's good in other things, but in this, him and almost everyone else, way was devastating to fucking listen to. And then we get to it's an action series. But when I would talk to Andrew, so many times he'd be like, episode 1, this is what happens. And I go, that's the plot of Blue Exorcist. And then he's like, in episodes 2 and 3, this happened. It's the plot of the Forest of Death from Naruto, and / the Bell Test from Naruto, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And then later he brings up how other characters' powers are just things. And it was like, obviously these are tropes and not... Naruto can't be the only series where someone brings people back from the dead, right? But when that's a character's whole gimmick, you're going to be like, he's doing that thing that's in Naruto also. He's doing the thing that's from the other thing that's way better. So I gave this one a 4 out of 10. Did I just fucking spit everywhere? Holy shit. I gave this one a 4 out of 10 because I did not enjoy it. However, I did not enjoy it in a way that other things are bad. I'm really good at like describing stuff. I'm so good. But yeah, when there were a handful of times I would look at the screen and go, that was cool. But it's surrounded by so much bullshit that isn't cool, where the main cast is this crew of students that have like demon powers. And every single one of them is just a trope. Where it's like, there's the pink girl. Pink girl comes on screen, she grabs the microphone and she goes, I'm sorry I'm such a worthless piece of shit, every episode, and then she leaves the episode and does nothing of value. The green guy shows up to go, I need sex. The blonde girl shows up to go, I need sex with the shy guy. The shy guy shows up to go, I'm shy. the edgy guy shows up to go, I'm edgy, and that's every character ad nauseum for 24 fucking episodes, and it sucks. For the second half of the show, they introduce, I guess you would call him the main bad guy, but not really, because he's not really evil, but he's the antagonist. And he meets the main character in a situation where they're both disguised, or at least the main guy is disguised, so he doesn't know he's the main guy. And they're like, they hit it off. It's like, oh, they're friends. But then the show really tries to overstate, like, they're best friends. They're like brothers. And I'm like, they've spoken twice. And they really, like, try to, for some fucking reason, make you care. But I don't care. Anyway, if there's a season 2, I'm considering watching it. I'm not desperate for it. If it was 20 episodes, I don't know that I would watch it again. Like I said, a 20 episode long season 2, I don't think I have that in me. A 12 episode season 2, I could do that. I could swing that, but hopefully for season 2 also they just hire a new fucking voice director. Please, I'm begging. I'm on my hands and knees. 4 out of 10 Togenenki. We've still got so much to go and I'm already losing my voice. The next thing I finished, I didn't watch this all at once. Most of these I binge. I'll say if I don't. Why am I highlighting that? Anyway, I watched this week to week. My Hero Academia, the final season. This was a show that this show first came out in like 2016 when I was a senior in high school. Excuse me. And I'm like, a superhero anime? Wow. Pog. Soy. Cool. Start watching it. I'm like, this is pretty cool. The first 2 seasons, was it? Yeah, I think it was the first 2. If not the first 2, it was the first 3 seasons where I was like, this is really good. For the most part. There's parts in season 2 that suck cock. But, mind you, I was like, this is so cool, I'm going to switch to reading the manga. I switched to read the manga. I get to what's season 4 of the anime, and it loses me. I'm like, woof. I do not care about what's happening in the slightest. Then we get to what season 5 is, and I'm like, they're getting me back. At least for the first half of season 5 when it was about the kids in the school. Season 4 lost me because it was about Deku doing superhero shit, and I know that's so much of what, like, shonen anime is, where it's like, it's the kids, but they're the real badasses, and the adults need to lean on the kids. I do get it, but for season 4 of My Hero, it seemed kind of contrived. To be like, we need the kids specifically. Fuck, leave the adults out of it. So it lost me because I want to see, it's called My Hero Academia, and they're like, skip the school shit, get him out in the world. He's already a full-fledged superhero for some reason, basically. And then season 5 got me back because the first half of the season, it's about the kids in school doing cool school stuff, and I'm like, let's go. I actually think the end of season 4 is also, because the end of season 4, yeah, it is when they fight Gentle Criminal, the single greatest character in all of fiction. That's not true. But they get me back when it's the school shit. But then the second half of season 5 is about the villains, and I don't really like the villains. They're not. Ultimately, none of them are really that interesting. Even at the time, they show up and it's like, I kind of like that Twice guy who gets killed. And then I'm like, well, now I don't really like any of them. I don't remember what happens in season 6 and 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. But I remember not really liking them. I even double checked when I was scoring this. I was like, what did I give season 7? Because the end of season 7 is the beginning of the war shit. And I'm like, there was cool fights. For the most part. Like, I know that's when Mecha All Might showed, like, that's the very end of season 7. I'm losing my voice. I gotta pop a strategic holes. I gotta pop my holes. And it's probably not gonna help. Holy shit. Yeah. It doesn't help that I'm doing this a little bit after a really, really long gaming session with my gay boyfriend Andrew. So I already have been talking a lot. But I think I'll talk about this one and the next one and then cut it off, and then I'll just include the next 2 shows in the January list. Because by the end of the video, I'll be like, so then I watched Ranma 1/2 season 2. And it's not worth it. And that really hurt to do, by the way. But where was I? Season 6 and season 7 of My Hero, they've lost me at this point. I'm kind of just reading it because it's not bad enough to not read. And then the anime I watch because I'm like, I guess maybe I'll like it more in the anime, because sometimes that happens. Like the end of Naruto or the end of Bleach are things that I did not like in the manga, and then when I revisit it in the anime, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Bleach is maybe a bad example because the anime that's going on currently is way better than the end of the manga. But My Hero, It's 8. I fucking just passed out. The last season is only 8 episodes. Is it? No, it's 11 episodes. I was reading my score. I gave it an 8 out of 10, which compared to season 7 is like leaps and bounds better. Like, I think I gave season 7 like below a 6 maybe. Like, I was unkind to season 7. I think I did think to myself, now that it's done, I should just rewatch the whole show and see how it like nets out after a binge. But I'm not gonna do that for a minute. I'll maybe do that in like a year or two when My Hero has like left my brain. I gave this one an 8 out of 10 because for the most part it's just the climactic battles. It's cast and crew versus All for One and cast and crew versus Shigaraki. Cast and crew versus All for One, Chef's Kiss. It's almost all awesome. Even in season 7, like that fight was the fight that I was interested in watching. Shigaraki, however, when Deku, the whole crux of it, he's like, I hope I can save him, and people were like, oh my, he's not gonna beat the bad guy. He's gonna try and fucking save his life and like rehabilitate him or something cringe. Thankfully, Deku beats the bad guy by force throwing his own superpowers into the main bad guy. Now this is fine because they set it up in the last season, where it's like, whoever gets this superpower that can be passed on to other people, and if they have a quirk, it's just gonna kill them because you can't, like, your body can't take it. And there's Deku, you might be the last person with no superpower in the whole world, so this quirk either dies with you or you're gonna kill whoever you give it to, you monster. So he's like fighting the main bad guy. He's throwing the quirk inside somehow, some way. He's sending it in bits and pieces so that it's like, I just sent that piece in and now we'll get this part of the bad guy's backstory. He's a villain because his parents would abuse him. And it's like, oh, okay, we already knew this. They told us this a season or two ago. So they beat him. They beat the main bad guy. Deku loses his abilities. The crux of the show was that Deku becomes the greatest hero in the world. Now, I had my problems with the ending. I did give the show a good score because it was fun to watch. But I still have problems with the writing. And the writing being episode 1, chapter 1, it's like, I'm Deku and this is the story of how I became the greatest hero ever. Which you could argue that he did because he beat the world's biggest threat. But then he stops being a hero so that he can be a teacher because he has no quirk now. It's like, okay, he can't be a hero with no quirk. They say that again and again in the very beginning of the show. And a main complaint people had online, I didn't, I thought this was stupid, where it was like, well, if he had no quirk, why didn't he just become Batman? And like make gadgets and fight crime with no powers. Because that's not the kind of series this is. If you have no powers, you're shit out of luck. So he's like, I'm shit out of luck. Goes to teach. That's fine. I think Deku, he throughout the series has been shown to be like a book smart nerd, obsessed with powers. I don't think it's shown he gets a job at the hero school, but when all is said and done, he didn't do that much heroing. He did the dumb heroing that I don't like in season 4. He becomes a vigilante in season 7, and then he fights the main bad guy. He was never really a hero other than season 4 to like have anything to pass on to the new generation of heroes. So I think as a character, it makes sense for a dork to be a teacher, and he's a fucking dork. But in terms of actual experience, what's he gonna? Okay, class, punch him real hard. I may be being a little too aggressive in my critique on that front, but it's something I didn't totally love, but I understand. And then the series ends with All Might being like, "Hey kid, here's an Iron Man suit. You'll remember if you remember at the end of season 7, I got an Iron Man suit myself, and it's awesome. It's really fucking cool. Well, in verse, all your classmates have been laundering money to make you an Iron Man suit, so now you get your own, and it's full of all the powers you don't have anymore. So now you're a superhero again." And then it ends with him being a superhero again. I don't love it. They set it up with Mecha All Might, with the All Might Iron Man suit, and Mecha All Might's one of my favorite parts. It's so awesome to get All Might, but All Might's my favorite character, so I'm like, I'm being biased, but it's annoying that like for years these people were like, why wasn't Deku just Batman? And it's like, well, it's not that kind of series. And then at the end, the author Horikoshi is like, you know what? It is that kind of series. Now he's Iron Man, and it's like, okay, I guess so. Also, I skipped ahead to the Iron Man shit, but there's a part before that where there's a granny who saw the main bad guy Shigaraki as a kid and was like, that kid's fucked up, I'm out of here. And it's implied that, like, if only someone had helped the little evil baby Shigaraki, he wouldn't be so evil. So now, that same granny is walking down the street as abused kid number 2 is like, I'm gonna be so evil. I'm so evil because I was abused. Ugh. And that grandma's like, you know, it's always weighed on my conscience that I never helped out evil abused kid number 1. I'm gonna help out evil abused kid number 2. Hey, evil abused kid number 2, it's gonna be okay because grandma's here. And the kid instantly stops being evil and it's like, I'm not evil anymore. And it's like, holy, it's such a fucking eye roll scene. And also, as Granny is helping evil abused kid number 2, the main character and his girlfriend run up. Like, why? It's so convenient to be like, don't worry, the main characters were also here for fucking no reason. God, I don't like that scene. They also imply that it's like, now that they beat Shigaraki, there's like no evil in the world at all, and heroes are basically a moot point. But they help people in other ways, like holding seminars, or Tokoyami sells cereal or some shit. I just wish that overall I liked the series, and I wish it was more, but it wasn't. So while I have my critiques, Mecha All Might was cool, Bakugo vs. All for One was cool, fighting Shigaraki at the end when they all bum rush him, like, one after the other was also really cool. So it's over. I kind of think they're gonna do a movie where, like, maybe Iron Man Deku, like, makes an appearance or something like that. I just kind of have, like, a gut feeling. Maybe they won't do that. If they do, hopefully it's good, because the last movie was fucking really, really, really forgettable. But it's January now, so we do have My Hero Academia Vigilantes to look forward to, which, when I started to read that on a whim of, like, I was like, I don't really like My Hero anymore, but, like, maybe this is better. It's written by someone else. And I would say, overall, I like Vigilantes better. So, I can still enjoy this universe, but in a different way than what the main series could give to me. Alright, we're going to wrap the video up with the next thing because I'm losing my voice, and it's 2:40 in the morning suddenly. I didn't realize what time it was. The last thing that I watched was My Life as Inukai-san's Dog, which is a show I've been aware of over a while. I think the first time I heard about this was my buddy Travis showing me, like, screenshots to, like, check out this fucked up manga, and I'm like, oh, I should read that. And I remember reading, like, one chapter of it, but not committing. And then I got an anime. I'm like, oh, I got an anime. This says it's 12 episodes. I watched 14 because the High Dive includes 2 bonus episodes as part of the fucking whole season, so I got trolled. I gave My Life as a Teenage Inukai-san's Dog a 2 out of 10. This joins the club of it fucking sucks. This is another porn anime. Ooh, Goonsember returns. The plot is that there's this boy, and he wakes up one day, and he is his classmate's dog. And he's like, whoa, why am I not a human anymore? Why am I my classmate's dog? And she is like, oh, I love you, Pochita. You're my cute little dog. And then she starts to French kiss him. And it's like, he's like, whoa, I'm French kissing Inukai. This is so awesome. But wait, I'm her dog. Isn't that kind of fucked up? And yeah, you know what? It is kind of fucked up to French kiss your dog. It's an animal. I'm explaining it to you. Like, did you know that fucking animals is wrong? All my viewers are like, oh, fuck. I wasn't supposed to be doing that? Shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. I gotta get rid of my fucking hamster. Anyway, so it's bad. End of the video. See ya. No, it's not a good fucking show. I watched it because the premise, I'm like, that's such weird. It's such a bizarre fetish of, like, wouldn't it be so awesome? The author's fucking cranking his shit, like, oh my god, oh, my dick is so hard. It's so hard because I'm imagining myself as a teenager, but I'm my classmate's dog, and also she wants to have sex with that dog. That's the hottest thing in the whole fucking world, dude. Oh my god. No, it isn't. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? One thing I liked about the show is that every character's name is animal-based pun, I guess you could say. Much like how, like, in Dragon Ball, the character Piccolo is named after the musical instrument piccolo. To relate Inukai to a much worse show, Dragon Ball, Piccolo is named after the musical instrument piccolo. Gohan is named after the rice dish. Krillin is named after a kind of chestnut. You know, all the Dragon Ball characters are named after stupid shit like that. I'm pissed thinking about this show. I'm so mad. Holy shit, I hated watching the show so bad. And also, I would watch the show before I went to bed. So thankfully I never had any weird fucked up fucking my own dog dreams. But who's to say it wouldn't like poison my subconscious like that? But every episode is just like, this episode, she films the dog peeing because she thinks that's so hot. And obviously it is. And he's a dog peeing against a telephone pole, and he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm pissing in front of the girl I like. Isn't that, whoa. And the main fetish, other than just being a dog, I think that the author loves is the dog always, like, once an episode, like, crawls inside the women's clothing and is like, oh, I'm inside the women's clothing. I can't believe I'm a dog and I'm rolling around her tits. Holy shit. I got away. Sorry. I'm upset thinking about this show, so it's like rattling my brain. I was talking about the fucking names. The main girl's called Inukai. A Japanese word for dog is Inu. The main guy, when he's a dog, is called Pochita. That is irrelevant. His human name was also an animal pun. I think he's like the best friend of the Inukai is called like Nekotani, which is like cat something, and then there's another girl who's like mouse something. And then the villain, they reveal like 6 episodes deep that he remembers. He's like, wait a minute. I remember I was human, and then I got Valentine's Day chocolate from a girl in a lab coat. And then I woke up as a dog. And the lab coat girl is this character called like Inari something, so that means fox. And in episode 10, I think, I forget, some parts of the show, which, you know, I was watching as I was laying in bed, so I was very tired. So I'm like watching the show upset, tired. I'm like, I just want to fucking go to bed, but I have to watch 3 more episodes of Inukai-san's dog. They set up, he's like, I need to go to the school so I can find Lab Goat Girl. So he like contrives some way to get Inukai to take the dog to school. He goes to school. They find out like, you have a dog here, and they're like, whoa, you know what, we actually need to hold this school festival thing. Let's have a dog cafe. So for the school festival, their classroom, they turn it into like a place to sell food, but they also have a bunch of dogs about. So it's just a contrived reason to have Pochita, main character Kun, at the school so that he can run away and find the Lab Coat Girl. But also, the mouse girl sits down at the table and excuse me, horny for dog girl Inukai is like, if you won't believe how good my dog is at licking feet. So then every shot of the dog is POV, so it's like I'm him. It's like I get to experience what it would be like to be a dog and start licking high school girls' feet. Oh, finally. I used to dream for days like this. No. So there's a POV shot of him desperately licking Mouse Girl's feet, and it goes on for 2.5 minutes. I know, because I sat there and I fucking watched it. And then she eventually like reacts as if she's orgasming, like, oh, and she comes so hard that she projectiles out of her chair. Like, the chair fucking falls over, she falls over, she's on the floor, and she's like, oh, and he's like, I guess I'm that good at licking feet. And it's like, what am I fucking watching? Lab Coat Girl walks in, and main girl Inukai is like, oh, they have a conversation where Lab Coat Girl is mean to Inukai, and Inukai's upset. So main guy's like, he's being mean to Inukai, who I love. I'll show her what's what. And then a POV style zooms in. He walks over to her feet. He spreads the toe-ussy of her big toe and her second toe, and just starts licking the crease in between. And for another 2.5 fucking minutes. And I'm like, oh my god. And he's like, she's not reacting at all, and I'm really giving it my all, and I'm good at this because I'm doing it a lot to Inukai, let me tell you that. And I just did it to Mouse Girl, like, I've been fucking putting in the hours, and she doesn't react at all. And he's like, damn it, well, I'll follow her so I can find out why. And then he confronts Lab Goat Girl. She gives him a fucking ball gag that lets him speak human English as a dog, and he's like, why'd you do this? And she's like, well, I did it for the lulz, basically. She's like, I'm trolling you guys, I want to see I know Inukai wants to fuck dogs, and I want to see what's gonna come of it. By the way, you'll turn back into a human if you kiss her mouth to mouth. Which, as I said, happened in episode 1, but that was my mistake. She was just licking his nose. And that's, we all do that to our dogs, so we're like, sure. But he's like, my first kiss with Inukai. And she's like, oh, by the way, also, it doesn't have to be her upstairs mouth. You can kiss her down south, implying that he could stop being a dog if he licks her pussy. Which, God, I hope there's a season 2 so that fucking happens. Yeah, 2 out of 10. You'll notice it's a higher score than Yandere Dark Elf, because Yandere Dark Elf was fucking ugly. It was boring. Inukai at least looked like it was done by real animators, and the absurdity of the stupid fucking fetish was making me giggle. It was making me chuckle. It was making me chortle. It made me laugh because of how fucking stupid it is. Now, will I go seek out the manga so I can see more sexy dog scenes? No, I'm not going to do that. It was really, really bad. I'm just going to let it lie. If there's a season 2, maybe I can clip farm. I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe, I'm a masochist, so maybe I'll fucking let myself get mad by like, oh, they finally did a season 2, these kind of shows don't typically get season 2s, I don't think. I don't hope. I technically did watch 2 more shows. I think I watched Ranma 1/2 and 100 Meters. I'm not going to talk about them other than that I watched them. I'll talk about them in the next video. But Ranma, I think technically I finished in December, but 100 Meters, it was already past January 1st. But stay subscribed to find out what I think about that. Thank you for watching. I'm exhausted after talking about Inukai. Like, comment, and subscribe, I guess. Like, comment, and subscribe for an Inukai watch party series. I'm not fucking doing that. Especially since it would like the punch if I'm like, God, I remember watching this last week. Fuck that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.